You know, there was one curious part in her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. But what does it mean? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about? Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand-on locket at his neck. I like how he said it the same way she did. I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar. Dude, I love her grammar. She's great. No, but look at this photograph. Look at this graph. Do you see a locket on the victim's neck? I like this music. It's pretty neat. Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean? If we are to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Ah. Why did he do this? Defendant, what do you have to say to this? Say. Yes? I just noticed this, but... You have something hanging around your neck, don't you? I wonder what's in there. Yes, it's a locket. With a photograph inside. A photo... Dude, what the fuck? When? With who? What? I knew Layton had a daughter at one point. I didn't know Phoenix did. What the hell? Who? Who was it? Is Iris out of jail? Who? What the hell? Okay. Come again? Mr. Wright, you have a daughter? We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter. Is it the girl on the front of the game case? She's too old, though. Unless he had the daughter earlier and he didn't know about it until recently. So Mr. Wright has a locket, too. Why don't I buy that this is just a coincidence? Dude. What? Well, now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game. Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost badly. Miss Orley, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant. Duh. She's super cute, and I love the accent that I have given her. She clearly has it, though. I'm doing it justice. Hey, get it? The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, it was victim. For last hand, the defendant play with all chips on table and lose. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and... And? Indeed, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game. As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow. Ah, how many times have I heard these words? Who knows, Judge? I done it in a fit of anger. Oh, I thought he meant the bitter pill to swallow, failure. But no, Judge would never fail. What am I talking about? Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies, or he lived them. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years. This testimony must be wrong. I feel like if you haven't lost in 7 years, it's probably about time for you to go ahead and lose. Let's just press everything. Are those the usual starting points? Were any special rules used? No, not special. Usual game, usual rules. If each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be... Yep. Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division. Yeah. Okay. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? Duh, of course. Something's fishy with these chips. Fish and chips. Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips? Explain? What is there to be explained? Why do you... Ugh. The hair and the face. Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fish and chips. Not a chip off the old block, not a... Motorcycle cop. You got a little off track there, buddy. Now that I've pressed her, I'd better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even? Niet. As I have been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. Oh, I like this girl a lot. 2 types of chip. 100 points chip and 1000 points chip. It is not money, da. Justice? Sir. Don't you find her comment interesting? In more ways than one, sir. I'd have it added to her testimony myself. Well, does the defense want the witness? Have I ever had that option in any of the games before? If I want it added to the testimony? Why would you ever say no? Added to the testimony? I wish I knew where I was going with this. It's fine. Whenever Phoenix was on the stand, he didn't know either. He made it up as he went along. As did I. So it's fine. Okay. Mr. Gavin said this testimony is important. To be honest, I have no idea why. Mr. Justice, do the court a favor and think of what you want to say before raising your hand. We're not in kindergarten. Sorry, I'm fine. I'd better think of something to ask, and quick. The 2 types of chips. The small ones are 100 and the big ones are 1,000? Right? Right, of course.
Heh. Don't waste our time.
Is that all? Yeah? Great, Mr. Gavin made me stop her, and now I'm the one who looks dumb. Oh, Justice. Please try not to embarrass me like that. Oh, well, fuck off. Huh? Who, me? There's a clear contradiction in the information you have in your hands. What? It's a simple matter of calculation. Oh, did the chips not add up? I didn't look at them. I didn't count them on the table. Let's go back to that one. See, if the big ones were 1,000, that is definitely more than 7,000. But if the little ones, also known as peppermints, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, if the little ones are 1,000 and the big ones are 100, then that would be 7,000. Which would mean that it was actually Phoenix who was winning. Okay. Yeah. Cool. That's pretty neat. When I first counted, I was like, but so what? But then I realized, oh yeah, I like these games. I really do. I'm glad to be playing this. Just looking at all the shit and coming to the conclusions, oh, it's satisfying. It's fun. Like I never knew something like that could be.
It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won. If you're not in kindergarten...
Stop mentioning kindergarten. Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points?
Why, the big ones, of course. Duh.
Oh, I thought so too, but then the totals don't add up.
The totals?
Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips, and the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points. Yes, if my calculations are correct. Let's see, 3 plus 1, carry the 5. They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points, and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up, how much is it? Do it yourself. You aren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony. I like the music in this game so far. Pretty nice.
And why? How could this be?
Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right, there's only one possible way to explain this contradiction. Both were right is interesting. Chip count was not wrong, because if the small chips are 1,000, then it adds up, right? The starting points were wrong? As in, like, 7,000? No, it adds up to that. So yeah, they're both right, it's just that the small one is 1,000 and the little one, the big one, is 100. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer. Be only one. Well, what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around.
What?
Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Madness, utter madness.
Show me that photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up. Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing.
It changes everything, motherfucker. Indeed, the victim did have the large number of chips still. Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points, and the defendant had 4,100 points. Well now, seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible!
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning.
Yang!
Now, Miss Orley, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime, weren't you?
Eek!
Order, order. It appears our defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened.
Yang, yang.
We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust the witness's what? Hello? I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see,
See what, Miss Orley? What do we see?
in the last hand, there was cheat.
Cheat. A cheat? You don't mean a trick?
Wait, or do you mean a scam?
It's whatever.
Yes, there was cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First we have lying, now cheating. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn. For the interesting. Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand. The last hand, both men had full house. There is 4 of each card in deck, from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. After finishing Full House, they were supposed to go and watch the Netflix original series Fuller House, but because he did not want to subject himself to such torment, he killed himself. That is truth. Why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. A full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make, in my experience.
That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics.
Mr. Gavin? What's a full house, really?
Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker.
I can't say this bodes well for your case, or career. What is this, some kind of secret court poker ring? I hope so. Justice? You know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, red pair, blue pair? 3 of a kind? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number makes a pair, and 3 makes the 3 of a kind. Good, and now picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. I guess they have to explain this to the audience in case there are some young people playing who might not know, so they had to have Apollo not know. That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it?
You can see each player's hand in this photo.
Wow, they both have full houses.
We forget there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat.
The defense may cross-examine the witness. If he cheated for 7 years without getting caught, then he deserves everything that he got, because, that's pretty fucking impressive. He deserves to win. That's pretty good. If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? The other guy could have cheated too, but I don't think Phoenix cheated at all, so it's not relevant. Okay. Let's start at the beginning. Just how hard is it to make a full house, anyway? It is quite hard, duh. It is making a pair and a three of kind at same time. I guess that's right. Very difficult to be sure. You can take my word as the poker head of courtroom number 3. Very difficult, duh, but it's not impossible. Okay, full house, hard. This line of questioning, a waste of time. Great. Four of each card, you say? Duh, there is 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. It is interesting fact that this number 4 comes from number of seasons. Is that true? I did not know that. That's, odd. Huh? You don't say. Oh, and did you know that the cards are numbered 1 to 13? Well, they're not, but I know what you mean. You know, like, king is 13, queen is 12, but they're not actually numbered like that on the cards, but I know what you mean, it's fine. Add all the cards in a deck and you get 364 a year. Not quite, Judge. You don't say, isn't that 1 day short?
That's why each deck has 2 jokers. They say the second joker stands for the lead.
Is this true? This is all interesting stuff. I'm learning. I didn't know any of this. Fucking just in the middle of a case, the writers were like, hey, we know some fun poker facts. Let's put those in there. Like, it's irrelevant. It's just a fun fact. That's kind of cool. Oh, and there's 52 cards. 52 weeks in a year. Wow. That's weird as shit. I didn't know that. Why is... like, that's odd. Wow. Cool. I never had any idea that there was any kind of meaning behind any of that. Duh, well, the defendant, he played the 5th ace. 5th ace? I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's 2.
Obviously, cheating was afoot. Or perhaps I should say, a hand.
Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke. Very well, the witness will add this detail to her testimony. Please. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces, and his has 2. A 5th ace. This is only the 4th ace attorney, though, so, nope, only 4. It's the 5th one chronologically, but Miles Edgeworth is not ace attorney, so it's not. Never mind. Haha. I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's 2. Well, where did this card come from, then? Perhaps we should... oh, fuck. He's not the Russian one.
Perhaps we should ask the defendant that very question. Adding cards to a deck is no less serious a taboo than forging evidence in a court of law.
Now, perhaps it's time for you to say something, Justice. You bet I have no intention of staying quiet. Not me, no sir. I'd better find some contradicting evidence fast. Okay.